So my name's Cressida. I think most of you know me. For me, this is a very personal topic. So I was kind of mortified when Sula asked me to talk about it, thinking maybe she knew what was happening on my head, but also kind of stoked because I'd done a lot of research into it because I've got a product coming out in very soon, which actually addresses this concern as well. So I guess probably when I was thinking about it, sort of men and women all have three things that they seem to be quite worried about aside from dying or presenting live. But it's, one is losing their hair. Another is having smelly breath. I had a client who's getting married next week and they're really terrified that they'd have smelly breath when they're walking around the reception. And I guess the other one is, having uncontrollable bowel sounds. So I'd love it if you can type a yes in the chat if you know anyone who might have one of those fears, because it's definitely something I hear about quite often. So I have been using the oils for close to 18 years now. And I would not be without them in my life. And here we're just going to give you a little bit of information about, how you lose your hair and how it can regenerate. And the beautiful thing, it's either a terrible thing or a beautiful thing. The great thing is the answer for pretty much every question is the same. It is foundational. So you really have to take great care of your entire body. Now that can be terrible if you're lazy and just think that you can whack something on your head and it's going to be fixed. I'm really sorry to tell you, but it's just not going to work. So, here, I don't know if you guys know how hair grows, but it really, all hair in the body requires nutrients, vitamins, and full amino acids to create the structural elements. So they actually rise out of the skin, and then once it's on the outside of your body, it is dead. Obviously, that's why it doesn't hurt when we get a haircut. But the base of every hair is full of blood vessels, and that's really the area that we're focusing on when we're talking about regenerating our hair. So just to acknowledge that the hair on your head, which is really the focus here, though there is some questions about hair on your chin, and that's not a great thing for women, I might say. I also have personally dealt with that. But hair on your head grows for about 2 to 6 years. So there is a little bit of so there's been a question about how can you get your hair to grow longer? And certainly all of the things that we're discussing tonight will assist with that. But there is an element of, it does depend on your hair type as well. So there is an element of genetics within this, but obviously we're talking about the ways that we can improve what we've got. So the hair grows for about 2 to 6 years. It depends what you do, depends how much you bleach it. I bleach mine a lot. It rests for a few months and it falls out. There are things, normally that would be replaced by new hair, but there are some things that can change that cycle. A normal adult hair loss would be sort of 70 to 100 hairs. Often you won't even notice that happening. If you've got straight hair, I think it probably just falls out of your head, I would assume. If you've got curly hair, it tends to come out when you're combing your hair in the shower and you notice it a little bit more. So because that hair process where there's new hairs growing all the time, you normally wouldn't really notice, those hairs that sort of fall out on a day-to-day basis. So if your rate of hair loss increases rapidly, it can be a little bit of a shock. And so sometimes it can be because the hair itself goes into, the hair growth goes into a bit of a resting phase. And so we can try and optimize that doesn't happen. But there's also other things that can happen. So there is an autoimmune disease, alopecia, which can cause hair loss. You might say we've got actually a teenage boy at my children's school who chooses to shave his head because he literally has just a few patches around. I know nothing about his health or anything like that, so I'm not getting involved in that. But that can be permanent. But what here we're really talking about is more of a symptomatic hair loss that's related to usually a lifestyle or environmental deficiency. If you know what I mean. And there is some relationship, obviously, to, I know there's some questions too about male hair loss, and that's a little bit different. So I'll go into that later. So if you don't mind to slide up, please, Sula. So first up, so the basic thing is that if you do not have sufficient nutrients in your body will shut down doing the things that that it doesn't need to stay alive, such as growing fingernails, growing hair, having beautiful skin, all of those things will just stop. So yeah, COVID as well, of course, that well. So, looking after your the basic nutrient requirements is the first big step. I know you're going to want to dive in there, Sula.
Yeah, so micronutrient deficiencies, 100%. I've got personal firsthand experience of this as a vegan, particularly vegan pregnancy, and immediately post my vegan pregnancy, postpartum, when your body is requiring so many micronutrients to make breast milk. If you're not getting enough nutrients, as you said, Cressida, your body will naturally start pulling those nutrients from bones, and non-vital processes in the body will go, which is why I stopped ovulating for many years, lost hair on my head, eyelashes, eyebrows. I've lost a third of my eyebrows. My gums receded. So I can't stress the importance of micro and macronutrients. Yeah.
I would love to know if you guys can type a 1 in the chat if anyone has experienced, there's a lot of women here, any hair loss during their pregnancy or post-pregnancy. Quite curious to see. I actually didn't have that concern, but I'm curious to know how many of you did. So the second one, this is really something that we've put in just 2 lines, but it's it's complicated. So it does require assistance usually, if you do have issues in this regard. So when we talk about gut and hormone imbalance, so the hormones in our body, we can have particular genetic SNPs that make it a little bit harder to, for instance, detoxify from, for example, estrogen. So often the male pattern hair thinning, which is around this area here. I don't know, how would you describe that? Anyway, there is can be related to just having estrogen that is going down the not ideal pathway. So it becomes, you've got too much usually of the non-helpful, the non-beneficial type of estrogen. That's something I'm experiencing. So I'm really quite passionate about people getting their hormones tested. I personally love the Dutch hormone test. I don't know if Emily does it. Tanya, can you nod if she does? Yeah. So I love that test. I've actually just done another one for myself. If you are female, my personal belief is that you will learn so much about your body by doing one of them if you have a practitioner who can properly decipher the report for you. So when we talk about hormone imbalances and hormone issues, you also need to have your gut working appropriately, because all the hormones that your body produces need to be, what's the word? Not treated by, can't think of the word, but your gut needs to be involved to help your body to process them. Process was the word I was looking for. Thank you. So here we're looking at so polycystic ovarian syndrome would also be a hormone issue that would need to be addressed, which can have, you have an increased level of androgens in your body. But that's really, you need to be seeing a great practitioner. Obviously, Emily Rose Yates, we recommend, who loves the Young Living products and is in our community.
Can you just want to put in the chat, Emily, how to contact Emily? I mean, she's on the members resources page, but let's just put it in the chat for convenience.
Often women can develop thyroid issues related to stress. It can often turn up post-pregnancy as well. This can also, one of the tips that this is happening to you is if you have slight like thinning eyebrows on the outer edge, that can be a little bit, and especially if you've got a hoarse throat or a little bit of a lump in the throat, a little bit of a tip to just investigate what's going on there. These are also obviously very much increased if you're not looking after that broad nutrient dense diet and making sure that you're really hitting all of it. Doesn't mean that you have to get your diet ready like so perfect every day, but it does mean that if you look over the week that you have to make sure that you're really getting all of the nutrients that your body needs and listening to it, and especially not being fat phobic. So we know that that's not something we need. We really need a good amount of healthy fats as well as lots of colors in our diet. Do you want to add anything there, Sula?
No, just on that point too, is just to drum home that gut and hormone issues are driven by diet and lifestyle. Yeah. So, people say I've got a hormone issue. It's like, well, that's the cart, the horse that's pulling that is the diet and lifestyle issues.
Yeah, I firmly believe that all of them can be addressed as long as you have the right investigations and that you are persistent with it. It's definitely can be addressed and improved dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
So dehydration is a huge one. I think as a society, most of us are dehydrated. If we already feel thirsty, that means that it makes everybody feel that everybody's drinking now. I want to drink too. So if you're drinking reverse osmosis water, which we want to have really excellently filtered water, you'll find that they're just, even if you have the remineralizer, which I do, it's not sufficient minerals in your water. The water is essentially dead. So you need to be making sure you have things such as your mineral essence. You need to be adding salt to every single glass or bottle of water that you have. And that's, you really just don't want to feel that thirst response. What is it? That thirst feeling. And you'll notice that if you put salt in your water and it tastes salty, you just need to back off a little bit. But you'll find the sensation of well mineralized water is that it actually just feels soft in the mouth. And I actually believe too, I'm actually a bit of a fan of some of the mineral waters like San Pellegrino. I quite like as well for its mineral content there.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And Sula, I know you've got the resources later for the water filtration places. So if you want to,
I can pop them in the chat too now. Yeah.
And so stress, we also know that all of us are extremely, actually, I'm just going to pop back to dehydration for a second. If you find it hard to drink water, do focus on things like very moist vegetables, such as celery, cucumber, things that have a high moisture content. That's going to help you also become more hydrated, just if you're really adverse to water. Sometimes people who don't like cold water will prefer warm water, but just play around with that a little bit there. So stress. So if we are not addressing our stress levels, for a start, that's detrimental to pretty much every system in the body, but related to the hair loss issue, it does raise the androgens. So the increase of the, I guess, more masculine hormones in our body, and DHT is the hormone that's related to, or the chemical that's related to hair loss. So when we're talking about stress, we're talking about using our oils for emotional release. We're talking about, meditation, whatever floats your boat, scent tents, dance parties with your family, doing yoga. I'd love it if someone can write in there what's their favorite thing to do when they're stressed. For me, it's actually just stopping and breathing, because I know that I'm terrible at doing that when I get a little bit overwhelmed. So that's a big out, just connect with breath. Hello, Gary. Another one here is obviously, which most of us here, I think, unless we're all across the synthetic chemicals in our personal care and cleaning products. And the big one is chlorinated pools. So my children especially do swimming lessons all year round. And I really always feel a little bit conflicted about the fact that they're soaking in a chlorine pool, but we can help that by detoxifying the body afterwards, using vitamin C powder in the bath, using Epsom salts in the bath as well. What's it called? What's the powder that you put in the bath? The
Epsom salts. No.
And I was thinking that the clay, the bentonite clay,
yeah.
All of those things can help. And also even taking vitamin C or having rich vitamin C foods can help your body with the chlorine. And
Electra magnesium oil that is the like an antidote to chlorinated pools.
And if you have your own pool, there is a system called a magnesium system. My sister-in-law and brother have it, and it's just, the pool is amazing. It's like soaking in an Epsom salt bath. You never get wrinkly. You come out and it's glorious. So if you are building a new pool, or you can do that, I would definitely look at it. It's come down a bit in price over the last few years, but even better, go in the ocean. So what's next?
But before we go on to that, sorry, just number 5. So with the synthetic chemicals in personal care products and cleaning products, I mean, that for us is just going to be a really dead easy, healthy swap, because we're all, members of Young Living. So there's really no excuses for us to have any toxic personal care products and cleaning products over the course of the coming months and years in our home. If you think about synthetic shampoo and conditioner, and you're rubbing that onto your scalp, those toxins in there, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that that's going to potentially cause hair loss. Okay, so shampoo and conditioner, people go, oh, what's the big deal about that? I'm not eating it. Well, yeah, you are, because it's on the scalp and it's going straight into, you know, your brain and into your bloodstream. So
100%. Yeah. And our skin is our largest organ. And obviously when you're in the shower is warm. And so you're opening those pores. And so even though it is a product that you just wash off, I highly, highly recommend that you use something that is not full of chemicals. And I agree. Just a little side note, when I was early in my Young Living days, I still used to read, and I do, if there's a new product, I actually do go through and check all of the ingredients. But just to know that lots of us paranoid folk do that all the time, and there really isn't anything to worry about in these products. So you don't have to go and check everything through the Chemical Maze app, because no doubt one of us has already done it.
We've got Australia's most critical low tox mamas in this group. There is not a question we have not heard before. I ran a workshop last night at the home of my new low tox hairdresser. Whose details are on here. We'll get to her in a minute. But one of the ladies there, she turned over the ingredients of the shampoo and she said, "Oh my God, is this all that's in it? There's so few ingredients." She goes, "Normally there's like, it, you know, takes the whole bottle." And she goes, "It's so short." And I went, "Yeah." So that's like such a great compliment. There shouldn't be that many ingredients.
I'm pretty sure Katya's on here tonight. I saw her name here before. So hi, I haven't met you before, but hi.
We'll get her to introduce herself in a sec.
So some medications can cause hair loss. A lot of people are familiar with obviously it happens with chemotherapy drugs. Some antifungals can cause it, even for things as simple as having a fungal toenail can cause you to lose your hair. Anti-clotting drugs, some of the cholesterol lowering medications, and some blood pressure medications. So that's just worthwhile knowing that they are side effects. So if you think that you're covering everything else, but you are taking some of these medications, it's worthwhile just checking to see what the side effects are, and seeing what, I guess I'm not suggesting anyone comes off a medication that they need to stay on, but just seeing whether there's other things that they can do to address that issue, if at all possible. Stay on your medication until you speak to your doctor. So scalp conditions is also a common issue. So we can get things such as fungus or psoriasis or dandruff. So these are all actually gut problems, but they can proliferate on the scalp, because obviously it becomes, especially in summer, and people that tie their hair back a lot when it's wet or wear caps, can become quite a moist, warm environment where we know that things like bugs and things like thrive and love growing there. This is something that needs to be treated topically on the scalp, but you also need to systemically treat your body. That is not just going to go away by whacking something on your scalp, just like everything else. It really is the systemic approach that gives you the best result. Unfortunately, there is a hereditary predisposition to some hair loss, especially it's more common in men than in women. I don't believe, I'm not a proponent of, as you get older, you just have to suck it up because life gets rubbish and you feel shit and all of that, excuse my swearing, and all those things. I believe that when we're here, we can get smarter and learn more and actually thrive as we get older. So I also think it depends on your attitude. In terms of the hereditary predisposition, you want to be looking at all of these other pieces all together, but also looking at really using, using circulation and massage on your scalp as well. There is some research into using laser and ice caps to help improve hair growth. Personally, I would just be really focusing on doing all of these things unless it's something that really concerns you. Overstyling. So I like to bleach my hair. I'm never going to stop. I don't want to know the natural color of my hair anymore, but I don't ever actually style my hair at home. So I might get a blow dry once every now and again, and the bleach actually doesn't touch my scalp. So I'm okay with that. It goes in my low tox bucket, not my no tox bucket. But in terms of people who are, and I really admire people who can blow dry and straighten their hair at home. I just could never do that. But if you are doing that multiple times a week and you're losing your hair, I would really have a think about it and make sure that it is just weigh up the pros and cons if that's actually something that you want to do, and think about the damage that it's causing, because it literally is dead once it's hanging out there. So you need to think about being really gentle with it as well. Tying your hair back when wet is something my mum used to say to me, actually, because I used to always tie my hair back tight. She'd always say, don't do that. You'll make your hair fall out. And I never really wanted to believe her, but turns out some of the things she told me are true, and it's really annoying. The other one is, don't forget to put sunscreen on your chest. And has anyone close to 50 noticed that your chest changes, that skin there changes? Anyway, side note, but I know, Sula, you've got a great tip here for your hairstyling that you love to share.
Do I? Hairstyling?
Yeah, just for what you put on your hair when you're just to get your natural curls.
Oh, yeah. So after I shampoo and condition my hair, in my teens and 20s, I was using like a product, which is just like, just toxic synthetic chemicals. I just now use, I shampoo, conditioner, towel dry it. And if I did nothing to my hair, because it's naturally curly, it's going to frizz. So in order to make it not frizz and just to curl nicely, I just use a little bit, like a 10-cent piece worth of the Young Living conditioner, and just finger comb that through my hair. And that's kind of like my styling agent, which I love because it's one less product that I have to bring into the house. I've already got the conditioner there. I'm just using that. I don't know. I'd love it if people can just drop a, me too in the chat, if they also use the conditioner as their styling agent or product. Or am I the only one on the planet that does that?
I love that. So I think also too, you're treating your hair while you're, it just helps to hold that curl. I mean, I've never had straight hair, so I can't speak to straight hair, but Tanya's right at the top of my screen. I don't know whether you've got anything to add. I don't know if that would be too heavy, but I definitely think for curly hair, especially when it's humid and in summer, it just needs a little bit of something to sort of hold those curls together. And also, I'm just going to go back. So Ruby said about the Dyson hair wrap. Air wrap. There are actually quite a few hairstyling products now that have different temperature controls. And so if you are someone that loves to style your hair, that's also an option, is just making sure that you're, choosing the lowest necessary temperature that you can. And I think I even saw an ad for a hair straightener that's like uses cold. Does anyone see that? It uses ice plates or something like cold. Anyway, I just saw it on Instagram. It shows them on social media too often. Post-pregnancy hair loss, we have actually spoken about before, but one of the big things is that your body is requiring so much,
nutrients,
so many micronutrients. There's those huge hormonal shifts. Is it a hair dryer? It is the thing, I think, that I don't know if it is a hair dryer as well. It's got all these attachments, but it spins your hair into a little curl, and maybe Ruby can answer because I haven't got one. But the post-pregnancy hair loss is really related to looking after your body so much more. It requires so many more nutrients actually, during and post-pregnancy than probably we even think. The whole concept of you're definitely not eating for two, but you're eating to grow a complete human. And so much of that growth happens before many people, unless you're consciously trying to become pregnant, it happens before they even realize they are. The spine forms right early on. So if you can be addressing your nutrients before you even attempt to get pregnant, kudos to you. And that's a fantastic thing to do. I had a surprise pregnancy with my daughter, very happy surprise. And so I wasn't really across that, but I was generally a healthy eater, but I doubled down. And so I really made sure that I was making up for anywhere that I could have had any lack. So with that, we're really talking about things like, I came to Sula's the other day and she fed me chicken livers, and I thought, I haven't had that for ages because no one here will eat them. But really all those kind of things that, that are old wives' tales, those are the things that are important. I mean, olive oil, colorful foods, your Ningxia obviously is a great one here. Your livers are great for the vitamin A, making sure that you're sort of hitting all of those getting all the different colors in your diet. So that is really the way to mitigate that. Obviously, that with the hormonal changes, if you are prone to hormonal finding it difficult to detoxify from your hormones, you may still have that, but it have some hair loss or significant hair loss. But the best thing to do with that is actually to address your liver and your ability to detoxify. So that's not really it may not be a micronutrient deficiency issue. It may be an issue with not having that your body is not processing things properly. So I highly recommend a naturopath. A little simple tip is just even using citrus fresh or lemon on your liver can help you process things. But if you have a significant issue, definitely see the beautiful Emily.
Yeah. And just on that post-pregnancy hair loss, I know just from my own personal experience, I had a lot of post-pregnancy hair loss after my first baby, my vegan baby. And then my second was a Western A Price baby. I had no hair loss. So I know it was, and the only change there was the diet. Okay. In fact, after my second pregnancy, the Western A Price pregnancy, which is an ancestral diet, for those who aren't familiar with Western A Price, nutrient-dense traditional whole foods diet. My hair actually, if I look back at the baby photos of Michaela when she was little, my hair was actually thicker than it was during the pregnancy, because I just ate my body weight in livers and raw dairy and grass-fed meats and wild salmon and cod liver oil and all the things that are so micronutrient dense. Yeah. And then I think we've covered all of those 10 things. So they're the 10 main causes. They're all stresses on the body. They just come down to toxic overload.
So here we've just written some of the treatments. We've summarized them there so you can always find them, but I guess we'll just go over them. Yeah. I'd love to know if people here are across ancestral eating. If that's something that you typically do, just type yes in the chat. I definitely eat. I've had an autoimmune disease for a long time, which has been in remission thanks to eating this way. So it's definitely something we prioritize in our house. I do notice that sometimes it becomes a little bit more challenging with the children at school, and that's a journey that we're all on, trying to help them stay eating healthy. That's amazing. So many people are really, nourishing themselves in a beautiful way. So here it's just talking about a few of the things. So bone broth obviously is beautiful because it's collagen rich. We did mention bloom in here, didn't we? Yes, we did. So bone broth, organ meats, and then meats that are high in connective tissue. So things that require slow cooking. It's sometimes a little bit less palatable in summer, but making sure that you get lots of those in winter, that will tide you over. You don't need to eat them sort of constantly. Oysters are a wonderful food source of zinc as well. Other collagen-rich foods, I also love the collagen hydrosolate from Gel Pro. I put that in every single drink that I make at home, whether it's a smoothie or a hot drink. It's just always goes in there for gut and just complete body health. And I'm a huge fan of the Bloom Marine Collagen. Honestly, when I first started taking it, it was about 3 days. I noticed a difference in the texture of my skin. And so when we revert back to thinking about our hair growth being a non-dependent, like not dependent for survival, if we can see reflection in our skin improvement, then we know that that's going to show up in our hair later on, because obviously our hair and our nails take much longer to grow than our skin takes to turn over. So if you're doing anything that improves your skin, you're also looking after your hair and nails.
And this is what it looks like, these little vials. They come in packs of 10. And so I get a 30 pack because it's more economical. So one for each day of the month. So every month I have a 2-pack of Ningxia and a 30 pack of collagen, Bloom collagen, marine collagen. So marine collagen's, particularly good for skin. But of course I still have the bovine collagen from the bone broth and the collagen hydrosolate. And just on the collagen, and the reason why collagen is so good for hair is because it contains all of the amino acids needed to synthesize keratin, and keratin is a major component of hair growth.
Actually, Sula, I'm going to ask you, because I know you only started the Bloom collagen recently, because I know you were like, I get enough. Have you noticed a difference?
Yeah, people saying to me I'm more glowy. There's like, I get, you're just glowing. So
has anyone else noticed a difference with the collagen? Yeah, just love to know if you guys think so. It is. Let's be honest. Some people will say it's an investment, but I'm going to be, the only place I have to live is inside this body, and I want to look after it as best I can. And I would rather have a Bloom collagen than a coffee, I can tell you, because that doesn't do it. That makes me stay awake all night. And so I'd much rather do something that's good for me.
And it's so delicious. It goes down so easily. I dump it into my Ningxia Red. So my morning routine is like 50 or 60 mils of Ningxia, 1 bottle of the vial of the collagen Bloom goes into that, the mineral essence, top it up with some water, put in some extra essential oils, like the citrus ones always go down well, and then use that to take all my supplements.
And I have to say, it's not a, you have to take it every day or it doesn't work. You can, if it is a financial concern, you can just space it out over the month and take it every few days. You don't need to be taking it every day. And in fact, I probably wouldn't take it every day all year round. It's more of a supplement. So I know that Sula's especially treating her disc injury at the moment. And so I think that's why you're really, doubling down on the collagen. But it is something that, for me, I probably do it a little bit more seasonally. And Julia Matheson and I were joking one night and made up a name for what we call our Blinksha cocktail. So it's with ice, and then it's pour your Bloom in and some Ningxia and some soda water. So it's delicious. So get your Blinksha on.
I like that.
So obviously eating a rainbow of vegetables, it's but really, do any of us eat enough vegetables? I would be hard pressed to find people that really do have a true rainbow of foods each day. Personally, I find it quite challenging because I have gut issues. So for me, I often will I actually have cold pressed juices to make sure that I'm getting all those antioxidants, because fiber is a bit of an issue for me. So you need to think about the appropriateness for your own gut health and make sure that you're looking after that. But really, fruit and vegetables, it's basic. We learn it when we're a baby, and it's just, you've got to keep in on that one. And then egg yolks, so amazing, so great for brain health, full of choline, super, super important for feeding and nourishing your body, and making sure you do not buy the ones at the supermarket that are from some poor chicken that has had a terrible, terrible life. We want to try and make sure that we're eating, wherever possible, that we're eating things from healthy animals, because obviously we're ingesting the goodness from them. And if they've had a terrible cage life, that's not really, I would rather not eat that. So we're lucky. My dad actually has chickens, so we get them fresh from his farm at Barrel. They even come with poo all over them, which is, my kids always laugh about. But yeah, egg yolks are the duck's nuts. If you put them in your kids' smoothies in the morning, they don't even know they're there. My boys, even, they can't be bothered to separate because they make their own smoothie, they can't be bothered to separate the yolk from the egg white, even though they, I know they shouldn't have too much egg white. They just chuck it all in, and they're just like, done. So, children can be encouraged to do that too. We obviously highly encourage having also organic and pesticide-free produce. If you can't, obviously try and hit the ones that are in the Dirty Dozen. That list is relatively similar, but can change a little bit year to year. One of the most highly sprayed are berries, which we all love. So definitely definitely using the Thieves fruit and veg soak on the conventional produce. Peeling things, you've got to really peel them quite deeply. If you're having a carrot that's non-organic, you want to do a really good peel. You're not just taking off like a light layer on the surface, but trying to go organic with those Dirty Dozen. Ningxia Red and goji berries, of course, has a special place in all of our hearts, but it has actually, the nutrients in goji berries have been shown to actually help with hair loss specifically, and pepitas. I've actually got some here because, as I said, I'm suffering from hair loss myself. And so I've got some on my desk, and I have them there just to snack on. They're really high in zinc, but actually pepitas and pumpkin seed itself has really been shown both internally and topically to help with hair loss. Green tea. So green tea can be used topically as well as internally to help with the excess androgen, to reduce that, but also topically to help hair growth. So you can just make a really strong blend of that and apply it like apply it to the scalp and leave it in for a period of time before you wash it out. I haven't tried it myself. I'd love to know if anybody does try it. There also has been some research done into using caffeine, so as in making coffee and using the coffee liquid on your scalp as well to encourage hair growth. So I'd love to know. If anyone tries that, let me know. I have not done that yet.
Put in the chat if anyone's tried the Young Living new range of teas. I haven't tried them yet because I just still use oils, essential oils as teas. Has anyone tried the vanilla lemongrass green tea? Love to hear.
I have. It's delicious, by the way.
Ah.
Yeah. So just keep going here. So we talked about your gut and hormone health. So there's Emily Rose Yates and Marika Rodenstein in our community, products, as well as excellent practitioners. So they're also listed in the members' resources, and I believe there are preferential rates for them for members. We've talked about keeping hydrated, so making sure, if you have a small drink bottle or you only drink from a glass during the day, it sometimes helps just to get a bigger bottle of water. I know Kerry has the most enormous bottle of water, and I'm often a bit jealous of it because I have this pathological fear that I'm going to run out of water. I went to pick up the children from school today and I forgot my drink bottle. And even the thought of not having one, I was just... So just making sure. I know Sula has multiple drink bottles that she has around during the day, but if you don't have it near you and you get stuck in a task, you'll often forget to drink. So having it close to you is a real assistant. There are funny apps and things that, sorry, that's my judgment call there, but there are apps available on your phone that can remind you to drink water. I think it's just better to have a bottle next to you. Somehow it seems to make you thirsty, but making sure that you focus on really great quality water, avoiding anything in plastic where you can, making sure it's mineralized. And as I said, that water, that demineralizer, I'm doing a course with Dr. Zach Bush at the moment, and he talks about the remineralizer, that they really only last for a couple of weeks. So if you're thinking that that's enough to make your water live again, you're not quite hitting the mark. Stress management. We could just do an entire thing on stress management. So I guess just hitting a few things here. Number one is find something that you love doing. If you hate meditation and you go, I'm going to try and do meditation every day to reduce my stress, I don't think that's going to work for you. So really trying to find something that you are called to, that feels like a great aligned fit for you. I think Kerry's saying haha because I'm not a massive meditation fan, but I love breath work. I love tapping. I love yoga. There's always something you can find that's fun to do. And sometimes even things like, I have to say that when I play a game of tip with my children, I can hardly run because I'm laughing so hard, and I don't even know why, but it becomes this sort of thing that they all gang up on me because I'm like curled over laughing. That is a great, great stress reducer. So I highly recommend that you find something that you really
laughter.
enjoy.
Yeah, laughter.
Yeah. What do you do for stress management, Sula?
The oils are just because I've got them all around me. The minute I just smell them, it's amazing. And time, like just at the beach, time with loved ones, with my partner, like it's just, we have.
Sorry, the reason I was asking is just because I think most of us are aware that you live a very accelerated lifestyle, and so I was curious to know what it was that kind of.
But I take I'll sit with my disc injury, but I have my recreation in the middle of the day. My life's a bit
you just stop and
backwards. I swap it over. Most people have their recreation at night, whereas I'll take between 1 to sometimes 3 hours off in the middle of the day with Peter. So that's kind of, and I work till late at night. So it's just a bit swapped around.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the easy one for all of us is to just continue to buy your things from Young Living. And so, as we saw all those ones before, is that most of us are on the monthly program, which makes it really easy because without a doubt, you run out of something each month. I have not tried the new shampoo and conditioner, but I know that Kerry's told me about it. Sula, you've told me about it. I'm just waiting to run out of what I've got here, but I hear that it is, there you go, love it. I hear that it is easier. I'm going to be honest, I found the original formula a little bit heavy for my hair. So I'm really excited to try this one and see how it goes.
The lavender and mint one's a bit kind of lighter if you wash your hair every day or every second day. And the other tip I had, from a previous low tox hairdresser is, okay, Young Living make 3 different varieties of shampoo and conditioner, the lavender and mint, and the copaper and vanilla. And I was just always using the same one month after month, like year after year. And my hair got a bit weird after a while. And he said, the reason is because of, like, you meant to, like, when one runs out, try a different variety. When that runs out, try a different variety. Your hair is like your skin. It kind of likes variety. Obviously doesn't like toxic stuff. So variety within the low non-toxic world. So I just make a point of always ordering a different variety of shampoo and conditioner every time from Young Living. And the other tip about their shampoo and conditioners, because they're so thick and concentrated, sometimes it's hard to make them lather, and people make the mistake of thinking, oh, I need to put more shampoo in to make it lather, but it's actually, you need more water to make something lather. So using less of the shampoo and more water will really get it into a lather. Don't make the mistake of thinking, oh, it's not lathering, I'll just keep adding more and more shampoo.
So one tip is, if you put a little bit in your hand and actually lather it as if it's soap in your hands before you apply it to your head.
Yeah.
That can help as well. Yeah. So we've mentioned some of the supplements here. Oh, sorry, I didn't say, is that the Mira hair oil. So the Mira hair oil can be applied both as a
well, I think we get to that at the, like, a bit later on.
Okay, no worries. Just because the picture was there, I got distracted. So the supplements, the mineral essence we discussed, really important to have all of those minerals. So the goji berries are particularly good for hair growth. Sulfazyme. So sulfur is really important to create the potential for your body to be able to create, to be able to create the protein bonds. And most of our soils are just really stripped of pretty much all nutrients now, which is why so many of us need to support our bodies with magnesium and sulfur and the mixed minerals as well. The BLM supplement is also great in terms of where we say you want to mix things up. This is like eating the rainbow. You also want to mix your supplements around, not be having the same ones all the time. So, ideally, you can sort of go through, a batch of sulfazyme, then we switch over to the BLM.
Which stands for bones, ligaments and muscles, which are the same building blocks as hair.
So the Life 9 probiotics, I know my naturopath and the naturopaths in this community love it. It's really beautiful to take at night time to support, healthy gut microbiome, making sure obviously that you have addressed any imbalances that you have beforehand. And zinc is really important for hair growth as well. And I know Sula is really a fan. I use the Thorn or Now Food Zinc Picolinate, and I think Sula loves the BioTrace as well.
Yeah. And can I just say on those supplements, so I had a disc injury I ruptured several discs, and unable to walk or sleep. Like, that's how bad it was. Late July, I was overseas and I couldn't get it treated until August. And it was pretty intense. They were talking about back surgery. And I doubled down on these supplements. So I doubled literally the amount of sulfazyme. So instead of taking 6 a day, I did 12. So 6 in the morning, 6 at night. And I doubled the BML. Instead of just 3 in the morning, I did 3 in the morning and 3 at night. And I can honestly say those things alone have made my hair go thicker. Because while my intention was to treat my disc injury, and that is beautifully healing, albeit slowly, because that's the nature of disc injuries. One very blessed side effect of the disc injury, there's always the silver lining, is that my hair is thicker. And I remember, I was lying in bed one night reading a book and just touching my hair and going, oh my God, my hair feels thicker. Why is it thicker? And I'm thinking, oh, because I've been taking double the sulfazyme and double the BLM. So it does work. So that was just a very unintentional but nice side effect.
I was just going to respond to Jenny there. So zinc can make you feel nauseated.
On an empty tummy.
Yeah. But also you need to take it away from other, so you can't take it with iron, you need to take it separately. You definitely can overdo it with zinc. I mean, there's a zinc copper balance and you don't want to get that screwed up, basically. So, my recommendation is, whilst there's a lot of things that you can do just by researching and understanding your body, at some point if you're having difficulties, that I think it's really important to get things actually measured. We can't just guess what's going on sometimes. And so I highly, highly recommend having a great relationship with a integrative health practitioner of some sort, and making sure that you actually know your numbers, especially as we get older. It can just help us feel so much better. Awesome. Emily will fix you up. So, often we've got, do I have any? No, I don't have it. Yes, I do. So hair ties. So I like to use these soft ones. Remember, you used to have those horrible ones that had the metal thing on them. It used to always pull your hair out. It was just awful. Now there's lots of fabric type ones, but the most beautiful ones are the silk ones. So they come in kind of scrunchy style. I have silk pillowcases, which actually is really nice on your skin, as well as on your as using them as a scrunchie. Scrunchies don't really work in my hair. Somehow my daughter makes them look cool. I just feel like I'm a throwback from the 80s. So if you can work a silk hair scrunchie, good on you. But otherwise, just using something really soft. I'm going to come back to that question because I can't read at the same time. The silk pillowcases are really nice. It just causes less friction. It's much nicer on your skin. Do treat them well. Don't throw them in the dryer, and they'll last you longer. And mine have been going for years. So it's not something that, they're a bit of investment, but they last for a long time. We've spoken about minimizing the heat styling, or just using it, where at the safest level possible. Using the leave-in conditioner, the young living conditioner you can use as a leave-in product or a bit of a treatment. You can also use the Genesis body lotion, has a great reputation as a mask, as a hair mask. And then Katya, I don't know if do you want to say hi?
Katya, do you want to jump on, darling, and just introduce yourself and your point of difference to other hairdressers? Where is she? I'll try and pin her. Yeah, there we go.
Hi. Hang on, baby, just 1 second. Wow, that was so informative. Thank you. That was amazing.
Sorry for putting you on the spot there, but I just thought it was a good opportunity to say hi to everyone.
No, it's okay. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. I haven't been to one of these before. So yeah, I've got a little home salon in Bondi Beach.
Yep.
I do hair and I do a bit of Reiki. Trying to be as low tox as possible. Unfortunately, some of the hair colors and things, if I could color everyone's hair with a carrot, I would. But yeah, it's
and are you available every day, or do you have just certain days that you work?
I'm available sort of Tuesday to Saturday.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I try and take Sunday, Monday with my son.
So you should have some time off. It's important to have work-life balance. Awesome. And then we can see that your phone number's there and your Instagram, so people can hit you up that way. Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. There you go.
And
Jenny.
Katya uses the Young Living shampoo and conditioner, and the hair color is it what about say 95% organic?
Yeah, so Natural Leak is like the cleanest one you can get out there, and then the bleaches and stuff, I just go for the ones with no ammonia. And they're also vegan and gluten-free.
Fantastic.
And I can vouch for Katya. She's amazing hair colorist, does my eyebrows, my hair colors, got the grays on my eyebrows, my hair, great hair blow dry. Just really nice to be in the presence of a like-minded soul and overlooking Bondi Beach at the same time.
Beautiful. And look, you've got some people hitting you up in the chat there.
I've started. Sula was the first eyebrows. I've started also massaging, so into all the conditioners, I'm putting in rosemary, lavender oils and massaging that in as well, which everyone's loving.
Beautiful.
And just sorry, one thing on the hair loss. I've been noticing a lot of post-COVID loss in my clients. Especially, I didn't have any myself, so I don't know. But yeah, if there's any recommendations.
That's a question later, so we'll come to it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
no worries.
Awesome.
Thanks,
If we just
darling.
go into just that last one, so just using any of these as a bit of a scalp serum. So just massaging it into the scalp. You can leave it in overnight. I actually prefer, because I don't like to ruin my silk pillowcases, I prefer to put them in the morning and then wash it out in the evening, or put it in before I go in the sauna. So there's the Mira hair oil, which has, really beautiful oils that are very nourishing and moisturizing. As you said, the Genesis body lotion there. A lot of people have I actually haven't tried it yet. I think I've got it here. So I bought it, but I haven't tried it yet. So it has some really beautiful hair oils in it. And I've just seen a lot on, anyone else see stuff on Instagram and think I want to try that. Lots of young living people in the community, especially overseas, putting it all through their hair and then waving their locks around. That never really happens with curly hair anyway, but I might give it a try. Be interested to know if anybody else gives it a go. So we'll just talk about some of the things that you can do in a DIY fashion at home. So you can make your own scalp serum. So here we've got, you can use cold pressed olive oil or argan oil. Argan oil's high in vitamin E. Olive oil is obviously full of polyphenols and beautifully nourishing. Unrefined castor oil. So castor oil is thought to increase blood flow and reduce inflammation, and helps with stimulating elastin and collagen production. So, really sort of massaging that into the scalp. It's a great treatment for, just the castor oil is a great treatment for eyebrows and eyelashes as well. Actually, you can buy, if you just go on, those people use all those eyelash growing things that have horrible stuff in it, but you can just go on eBay or Amazon and buy the mascara wands and put castor oil into it, make your own little DIY home one. So geranium balances the oil production in the scalp. Lavender soothes the scalp and reduces DHT, which is the male androgen that can cause issues with that male pattern hair loss. Northern Lights black spruce is really great at smoothing the frizz. Orange helps to facilitate hair growth and treats dandruff. Not forgetting, of course, that dandruff needs to be treated internally as well. It's often a bit of a gut issue. Ylang ylang reduces hair breakage, also studied to reduce DHT. There are actually quite a few studies done on hair loss using essential oils with improving hair loss, specifically on alopecia, which is just, hair loss itself, but they're mostly done in men. So we do have to extrapolate and say, well, is that going to work? But in the studies, they said that they were as good, if not better than. So they were sort of slightly better than, and I can't remember the chemical name, but Rogaine. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's a product that men have been using for a while, full of all sorts of things that we would not want to put on our hair. On our scalp, but these have been shown, these oils, to actually give a better result. 11 hair products. I maybe ask Katya. I personally, the last time I looked at the back of an 11 one, the label was very, very long. I would suspect it isn't, but happy to check it out for you later, Jenny, if you like. So sage improves hair strength and growth. Rose increases the moisture and strengthens the follicle and prevents hair loss. Rosemary, so we really want to focus a lot on circulation on the scalp, and also making sure that the hair follicles are not plugged up with any kind of dermatitis or dandruff. So the rosemary strengthens circulation. It might prevent the hair follicle from dying off, and may also benefit nerve tissue. So in a study, there it is, in the study, the rosemary oil was as effective as Rogaine. So cedarwood balances the oil producing glands in the scalp. So obviously, if you're someone who has an oily scalp, then you would focus on the oils that balance those. It also has antifungal and antibacterial properties. I know some people don't like the smell of it, but mixed in with the other things, you'll find that it's not an issue. Tea tree is a go-to for fungal conditions, but it can be really great actually to help prevent hair lice as well. I personally I really believe in diluting things unless you're treating something, like if you've got a burn, I'd put lavender oil straight on it. But if you want to use oils for the long term and you're quite a sensitive person, I would really highly recommend properly diluting these. If you want a specific recipe, just hit me up on my Instagram and I will send it to you. But you can also put these oils in your shampoo and conditioner, and that can give you a bit of an extra boost, making sure you massage the scalp. And one thing I just really want to mention is, if you are someone that likes to swim a lot, you want to make sure that you're not leaving your hair wet and then tied back or under a hat where it can't. You've got to think that the scalp needs to breathe as well. And so, really making sure that you're massaging it and giving the scalp a lot of love. That's really how you're going to get a good result. And I also think that we have to believe that. I've got a beautiful email from a lady who couldn't come tonight, but she just said that she's just putting it out there in the universe that she has beautiful, lustrous hair, and that it's all going to grow back. And I think that's a really important point to put in there as well, that believing that our body can repair and heal and that we can get that back. There's a few questions that were in the Facebook group.
Yeah, before we go on to that, can I just say 3 things on that?
Yeah.
So the mirror hair oil, a lot of that long list of oils in the do-it-yourself one are in the mirror hair oil. So this is it. And I've been using this on my scalp. So the night before I know I'm going to wash my hair out, I'll just put it on my scalp. And my hair definitely is noticeably thicker now than it was a few years back. And I just put I have silk pillowcases too. I just put a towel down or, just something so it doesn't go all over my silk pillowcase. It's got the argan oil as a base, and then all these beautiful essential oils in here that are listed there: passion fruit, black spruce, geranium, sage, ylang ylang. So I do love the mirror hair oil. I don't use it as a leave-in. It just makes my hair look really greasy. I think if you're kind of blonde, maybe you could get away with it, but with dark hair, for me, it's like a leave-in treatment at night that then just gets washed out. Okay. What was the other thing I was going to say? I was going to say, yes, that's right. Before my mum passed, I wish I wrote all these down. I asked her all her beauty tips and secrets that they used to do in Cyprus. God, I wish I wrote this down. But she said that every night they would massage their scalps with extra virgin cold pressed olive oil, because of course their olive oil was all extra virgin cold pressed, and they would massage that into their scalps every night. And mum would say the women in the village all had hair that the plaits was so thick. They were she did that with her hands. So all our plaits were this thick. And I just thought, that's just shows you how, Mother Nature always gets it right. If in doubt, return to nature. And Chris, you mentioned, what you said about that visualization. Before I jumped on this call, I had a read of the hair, skin and nail. And the very end of that, I might just put it up. It just said, after resisting my curls for decades, I realized that everyone wants what they don't have. So embrace what you have and be graceful for it. After almost losing all my hair, I'm grateful to have hair. Appreciate that the airbrushed photos in print and social media are not realistic. Age gracefully. Don't feel pressure to wear makeup unless, of course, you want to. It is important for mums in particular to role model to their daughters that makeup is merely an optional decoration, but not a precondition for feeling and looking beautiful. Role model to your daughters that you accept and love your body unconditionally and never talk negatively about your body in front of your children. Create healthy self-talk and really own it and believe it, which is what you were saying before. Your most beautiful asset is a radiant smile and a kind and open heart. This will flow through to the rest of you. That's a really nice meditation, isn't it? And then the last thing I wanted to share was just before this call tonight, somebody texted me saying, oh, I can't make it, but sent me this really beautiful testimonial. The hair chat is definitely one I'll watch later. Just to let you know, my hair is noticeably thicker and more lush since adopting several strategies you recommend, such as bone broth, collagen, Ningxia, ingesting cinnamon oil, using Young Living hair products, your food as medicine package. Not only have I noticed my hair has improved, a few friends, my boyfriend and my hairdresser have all commented that my hair is thicker and more healthy looking. How nice is that? So when people say, does this work? Yes, it does. So that was really beautiful. And now we can open it up to all those questions on the Facebook page and from other people.
If anyone's got any questions they want to pop in the chat that they feel hasn't been answered, I'll just
unmute.
Yeah, I'm on what? Sorry, I
Or
thought
you can unmute. You can unmute and ask your questions now.
Do you want me to, let me just run through because these might answer some of the questions too. So there was, so this one's a little bit different, but about chin hairs. So chin hairs can be quite frustrating as a woman. So often they're hormonally related. They can be, once that hair follicle has been stimulated, it can be quite difficult to prevent the growth from there. There is, so the recommendation is to ingest spearmint oil for the thicker hairs on your chin. And I have to say, you'd also need to check your hormones and your detoxification pathways. Another spring. I should be like a what's it called? I should be like some kind of founding member of Dutch hormone tests, the way that I talk about it all the time. But it's just been so transformational for my health that I'm going to just give you an example. I didn't really have any issues, but I found that I had no good estrogen in my body and only the inflammatory type of estrogen, which leads itself towards cancers. And so having adjusted to that, and I know there's some controversy around it, but I personally use bioidentical hormones and they've changed my life. And I wish I had found them a lot earlier because I would have enjoyed the bit of time earlier a lot more. I'd had some hormonal damage from the surgeries that I'd had. So for chin hairs, ingesting spearmint oil and checking your hormones and detoxification pathways. And I have to say, go laser. If you can't get rid of it, laser is pretty safe hair removal, making sure you're going to a reputable place. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I counted that I had 40 dark hairs on my chin at one point, and I just was constantly trying to pluck them and cut them and all the rest of it. But the laser has pretty much taken care of it. I've only done it a few times and it hardly ever comes back. It has really helped my self-esteem. I was finding it quite I don't know what the word is, but I hated it basically. And the laser has been amazing. I do know a good laser place. Happy to share that with you afterwards. Pregnancy and breastfeeding hair loss we've really covered, but I guess probably just, saying, that increasing those nutrients, doubling down on the nutrients even more, making sure that you massage your scalp and trying to obviously focus on your sleep as best possible and stress reduction. So there isn't really a magic bullet unless you are having some kind of hormonal difficulties, which you would see a naturopath about. But, hitting these things hard. So making sure you're really, really making sure that you're thinking especially hard about the nutrients that you're getting. Thickening your hair. It's, as I said at the beginning, it's sort of annoying, but also amazing that the things that we can do for our entire body are basically going to help your skin and hair and nails. So it is really addressing all of the things that we've discussed earlier, but also focusing on giving your scalp some attention. I think most of us, the only time our scalp ever gets a bit of a massage is when you go to the hairdresser, if then. And so, there's nothing nicer than putting something in your hair and just, giving yourself a few minutes. It's the best. And you can do it yourself. And there's even those, the things, the metal things that can do your
Orgasmatron.
Yes, the Orgasmatron. Apparently there's one at a plastic one that's better than the metal ones at the shop in between, if you live in the east, at Harris Farm and Coles at Bondi Junction in Westfield. And apparently it does an amazing job. But that, sensation on the scalp, increasing circulation, stimulates nerve function. Orgasmatron is the name. Yeah, that really, really can assist. And using the oils and the treatment. Why is Sola's killing herself laughing? I'm pretty sure orgasms help too, probably, but yeah. Hair length. So a question about hair length. So a little bit it is to do with genetics. But it's really about doing all the other things, making sure that you're getting all the nutrients and it's okay, Jenny. I'm okay. It's all that's like going to fall off a chair. Making sure that you are doing all of the above things. There's no kind of magic bullet. It's not like you can just say,
approach, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to hit everything. You can't just do one thing. Hair loss during menopause. So that really is a hormonal concern. And I really, really highly recommend the Dutch test. It is just brilliant for figuring out what's going on there. Male hair thinning and loss. So male hair is a little bit more difficult than female hair. The androgens. So the one thing you can say to men is that if they have hair loss, it often means they've got higher testosterone, and hopefully that makes them feel a little bit better about it. That's quite a sort of common feeling, especially men that lose their hair at an early age. But doing all of these things will help. Men can also go through a thing called andropause, which is when they're, if they are living a toxic lifestyle, the same as women, their hormones can drop as they get older. And that can also be addressed by seeing a naturopath and having a good hormone profile done. There was a question about hair loss in children related to medications and dermatitis. Again, it really is about Jenny. You know the answer to that because it's Emily. So the children hair loss, it's really the same. So there is no difference. You can safely use these products on children. There's really no issue with doing that. You want to make sure they're beautifully diluted if you're making your own serum. Again, for the person that asked that question, hit me up. I will give you a formula. But you also want to, if you can, and I know that the person that asked this question is now off the medication and or the child's off the medication and they're addressing the dermatitis, but making sure that with the gut health. So that's really making sure that you address that very, very closely. It is harder with children, but it is, you get a much quicker response. So it's really kind of short-term gain for long-term short-term pain for long-term gain with children. Just a short period of doing something like a GAPS diet can completely reset your microbiome. But, if you've got, I know that if it was a slightly complicated issue, then I would definitely see a naturopath and get proper assistance with that. So yeah, I said the serum recipe. If someone, Kerry, do you mind just sticking my Instagram in there in the chat if anyone wants to hit me up for the recipe? And then post-COVID hair loss was also a question which it's happened a lot. I know that actually I've had a few hairdressers, and I know Katia, you said it as well, comment on it, that it's really them that is noticing it in their clients because it seems to be a little bit further back. Obviously we don't know all the things about COVID just yet, but what we think it might be from really is inflammation. So looking at all the inflammation in the body, COVID does seem to be, and personally I've never had it, so it's a little bit hard for me to comment, but it seems to go to the weak spots in people's systems. And so that would really be looking at making sure that you've got your detoxification pathways open, making sure that you are really addressing, reducing anything that inflammatory in your diet for a period of time to bring those inflammation levels right back down. You can do blood tests to check the inflammation levels in your body and see what's going on there. Black seed oil is a fantastic supplement for that. It's great at reducing inflammation. You keep that in your fridge, put it under your tongue.
Which Young Living make a black seed
oil. Yes, Young Living black seed oil, and which you could not keep it in stock last year, but now it's usually in stock. I haven't seen it out if I'm not mistaken, but putting it under the tongue a couple of times a day as a treatment, so to reduce inflammation in the body. Doesn't taste great. I actually don't mind it.
Oh, I just added to my Ningxia.
You chuck everything.
I chuck everything into my Ningxia. It's like a smoothie.
Yeah. I like it too. To me, it feels medicinal. But I also take CBD oil, and that's kind of quite a strong taste as well. I would probably take anything if I knew it was going to help me. Anyway, I'm like,
fussy with that.
I'm going to live till I'm 150 and still be vibing high. I will take it. Anyway. Yes, it is better taken away from other supplements because it will not be absorbed properly by the body. So I just have it in the fridge last thing at night, or first thing in the morning, or sometimes if I'm getting sick, I would have it in between meals. Like if I'm just walking past the fridge, I will put some under the tongue. So it's actually a great anti-inflammatory agent. It has a history of being known to cure everything but being dead. Mm-hmm. That's what they say about black seed oil.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone got any questions? Did I miss anything?
No, you did great.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on like the no poo, like going like no shampoo?
Look, I know lots of people who've done it and love it. I personally couldn't do it. I mean, our hair is natural. Like, okay, like, I am going to say this. So like vaginas, our body is self-cleansing. We don't really need to use soap and all of these things, but it just depends. Depends on your personality, I guess. I'm also a Virgo. Like, I like it when my hair smells like shampoo. I don't like it when the toxin-loaded person walks past me down the street. I did try it for a little while because it's part of, and also part of, has anyone heard of the curly girl method? Which is basically just using conditioner in your hair. I didn't like the feel of it. So I did do it for a period of time, but in the end, I just didn't like it. I actually like scrubbing my scalp in the shower. It feels good. Have you tried it, Tanya? Have you tried no poo?
No, I haven't.
I mean, my kids are virtually no poo.
I don't really wash my hair that often. Like it's not.
Yeah, I wash mine once a week.
Yeah. And then I've done like a little bit of reading about not having like hot water on your head. So like just not kind of mucking around. Like I love massaging my head like before a sauna and doing a treatment and things like that. But like the not washing it too much kind of it works for me. But I guess maybe it's an individual thing too.
Well, I think people who have a tendency towards an oilier scalp are going to find that a little bit more challenging. Also, it's different times of the year. Things are different. I feel like I'm revealing everything about myself here, but I have a tendency towards getting dandruff. And so, it's partly because I have I have no large intestine. My guts are a bit different. So I have to be really mindful of my gut health. And that's a long-term challenge for me. Well, not a challenge. It's a long-term focus for me. I don't want to use that word. But it's, it is very individual about what works for you. I mean, you've got quite fine hair. So I would be interested to know, once you got through the initial phase, I feel like it would be good, but there's a bit of pain before you get there. And I just don't think I'm up for the pain.
Also, I use so many essential oils that they kind of like, my hair gets all oily by the end of the, day or two, that I feel like I just would want that. I don't want sort of oily hair because of the essential oils.
Yeah, getting through that. Yeah. Oh, maybe it might be something I might do. I'll give it a go.
Please report back if you do.
But like that whole idea that we don't really need to wash it, and
Well, we don't. You don't really need to wash it all. Bit of soap, bit of water to get the dirt off. But I'm never going to not shower, so never going to not use soap. Just my personality. But like children, my boys hardly ever shampoo their hair. It's fine.
No, thank you. I just wanted to open that one up. Thanks for sharing.
Someone asked about supplements from America, and I actually just did an NFR shop. I can show you some of the things I've got. I just could pick them up if you want me to show you. If anyone's curious.
Go for it.
Okay. So I just
So NFR means that you can place an order, and it's a little video in the video gallery on how to do that in the members resources page. You can get some really cool stuff from America because they've got a bigger market that you can't get here in Australia. Like in America, there's 900 products. There's half of that in Australia because we just don't have the population. So in the members resources page, Rachel did a little video and she lists all of her products that she routinely buys from America. And I'm sure, Chris, you've got some of those there.
I actually think I don't. So I went through and I had lots of points, so I used them. So I only bought things that I could use. I put a rule on myself because if I haven't had it before, I want to buy it. Kerry will be laughing right now, but I just said I can only buy it if I can do it on points. So I bought, Kerry. I got Ecuadorian oregano, which is delicious. GLF, which is actually a oil that you would take internally if you choose to ingest, which I do, as a liver cleansing thing. So you put it in a capsule and take that. So I'm going to try that. I got the Animal Sense has an ointment, which is just so delicious. It's actually been sitting on my desk. I've got a staffy who has really itchy skin in summer, but I actually use it on myself. It's so nice. So that's really beautiful. And then I got
barking soon, but that's okay.
Barking mad anyway, Sola. So Essential Zyme, which is just a multi-enzyme blend. So for me, I use enzymes all the time when I eat, just to help with my digestion. Often as we get older, our hydrochloric acid production decreases, and you really need that to be able to break your foods down properly. So Endogize is for endocrine support. And so I like trying things like this just to try them purely. So I would not, for instance, I got that and I got Thiamin. So Thiamin is a thyroid support one, which interestingly you take at nighttime. So I'm curious about that. But I would try those separately, because if I did them, and I would not change anything else, because then I wouldn't know whether there was a difference or not. But I just like to experiment. I'm a big believer in try things for yourself and see how they feel. I don't need to be prescribed things. I just like to experiment. Obviously, if I felt sick, I'd stop. And then this one is ICP, which is actually like a psyllium husk kind of fibery thing. So I'd be curious to see, but it's got essential oils in it. I think there's some slippery elm and flax and things in that guar gum. So that would be really interesting, because if you have leaky gut, which most people have a degree of leaky gut, due to just our toxic lifestyles, that would be a bit beneficial there. And then I don't even know why I got this, but they have the Thieves Whitening toothpaste in a sample, like it's little samples. I don't know who I'm going to give them to, but it was like cute, so I needed it. So I guess that's me being silly. And then there's got Thieves Mints. And so they're great. And then I don't even know what to do with these. And again, Kerry will be laughing, but it's frankincense resin.
You can burn those.
Yeah. But I'm not, do you know how to do it? I'm not quite sure how to do it. I just keep sneaking.
Mariana will tell you. She came and did a house clearing the other day, energetic clearing with frankincense resin. So Mariana can teach us. I think you just put them in a little thing and burn them. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well,
yes, I'll help you, Cressida, with that.
Who said that? Sorry?
Mariana.
Oh, what did you say?
Yeah, I'll help you with that.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Because I've got this, amazing bag and I don't really know what to do with it, but I do just it's on my desk and I stick my nose in and it's delicious.
Because that will be probably one, then it's eatable grade as well.
No, it actually doesn't say that. It's not for internal consumption.
But I reckon you could if it's Young Living.
Yeah, well, just because it says that doesn't mean I wouldn't.
Yeah.